Hello friends and welcome back. Well, we did it. We are now firmly settled, firmly is a loose term, in Michigan for the summer. And we had probably the easiest journey up here. This is our third summer in a row living through the summer, so about 4.5 months in Upper Michigan, and taking our 4 dogs. Now, taking what would be, if all in one stretch, from where we are in Orlando to where we are now in Upper Michigan, which is Traverse City, it is about 24 hours of driving. That's without stops. I believe it is a 24-hour drive. So doing that with 4 dogs, that takes a special certain something in your, your constitution there. So we did so successfully. What we changed this year was that we did add one more day to the trip, and we stayed in pet-friendly Airbnbs as opposed to hotels. That was such a game changer. Mr. Lyon's preference was to have done this drive in 2 days. I would even be open to doing that again so long as we stayed in the pet-friendly Airbnbs, because they had fenced-in backyards. They got to roam. Actually, they were so good during this drive. It's just that when we do have to stop and let them out, at any given rest stop, it looks like a Chinese fire drill in our home. But anyway, I am firmly here. I have left the hustle and bustle of city life in Orlando for peaceful, slow living in Upper Michigan, and I am here for it, and I am here to talk about it with you today. So I am coming to you actually from my home office here at the rental house that we've been renting for the last 3 years, which is part of a detached garage. You might be able to see the door there. Things are it sounds a little cavernous in here and everything, because you may recall a couple of weeks ago that I announced that Mr. Lyons and I purchased a home up here, and we are so excited. We have a few more weeks here. We're going to start to slowly move into this new house, which I'm calling the new old house, and I'm going to show you some videos from that in just a moment. But we are just starting to slowly gather things to make a slow move over there. We made an agreement with the previous owner. He is still currently in the house until the end of next week. And so then following that, we'll just start moving things bit by bit over there. And then of course we will have movers come at the end of the month, and we will be there full time beginning July 1st. So it is bittersweet. We love the house that we've been renting. I mentioned as much in that video a couple of weeks ago. And if you want to go revisit that one, that is the video where I did the kitchen pantry organization. We've made it so comfortable. The drawback was that it is off of a really busy road. So many pros to this home, but that was the con. At any rate, we had been low-key searching, high-key searching for a home for quite some time, literally since we started coming up here. And we really had a dream location. And if I could show you on the map, like I circled this one area, and anyone that would come to visit us here knows. So all of you friends that may be watching that have come to visit us up here, I would always drive them up and down 3 streets, a series of 3 streets. My favorite street being one. Well, the house that we purchased is the house behind my dream street. And it's not to say that my street now is not my dream street. It certainly will be now that we're living there and we're doing all of this. But here's the thing with the new old house. It was built in 1896, and there was quite a bit of negotiation to purchase this house, because it was listed certainly at a much higher price than we were willing to pay for it, due to a lot of the structural things that needed amendments and cosmetic things that need to be done, and all of this was tallying in our heads and the numbers were adding up. So we wanted to make sure that whatever we offered for the house, once we put the money into it to make it not just livable but beautiful, the value would be there. So we finally got to that point. You will see in the video that I'm going to share with you, when we came to first look at the house in March, it was snowing, and it was literally the most miserable day. It was between snow and rain, and we were trying to get a sense of this house. That we had an inspector there, we had a contractor there. There was just a lot going on. So I actually cannot wait to see the house. I mean, we've driven by it plenty since we've been here. I cannot wait to see the house, the backyard, without snow, because I don't know what that looks like yet. So I will of course take you along for that. So that is project numero uno, the main gig for this summer. We could tell once we crossed the state line to Michigan that things were changing. Obviously the topography was changing. Everything was getting a bit greener, and it's very green in Florida, but it's not palm trees and things like that. Beautiful evergreens and bushy trees. And as we started to drive in to Michigan, we were like, oh yeah, this is what it's like. Because you can imagine leaving Orlando, you know, we were leaving sort of that life behind. And do not get me wrong, I love my city life in Orlando. I think I mentioned as much last week that I was lamenting that I will not be at Disney World for the entirety of the summer. So that is weighing heavily on my heart. It was like that. And I will say about 15 minutes before we got to our house and we were in the car, I felt like figuratively and literally I could see my husband and my shoulders drop and like sort of this big exhale. And was part of that because we were ending an epic car ride journey with the 4 dogs? Probably. But I think moreover, it was because we were really, really ready to downshift. And so that's what I thought I would talk to you about this week, is the fact that I am embracing my slow summer living here in Upper Michigan. This is what I valued very much last year. There are certain things I would change. Last year, I have no problem admitting to you, I was in the middle of hormonal fluctuations. I was trying to work this out with my functional medicine practitioner, get the right hormone levels, you know, prescribed and applied and all of the rest. And so that was a real sort of teetering, balancing act there. It almost kept me like a recluse here. And Mr. Lyons was working a lot back in Orlando, a lot of back and forth. This year I feel great, totally balanced, feeling great. These are the things I am doing this summer. Next week, I have registered for a beginner's needlepoint class. I cannot tell you how excited I am to start this. I hope that I love it as much as I want to love it. I feel like this is, perhaps you've experienced the same, at least in my algorithm. I'm starting to see a lot of needlepoint thing, and it's not like before it was like the grandma activity, but I'm seeing a lot of young women embracing needlepoint, and I just love the idea of something that I can do. Again, I've been calling these analog activities, and I love the idea of sort of doing something with my hands that I could sit down, perhaps put an audiobook on and listen to that as I go, sit outside perhaps and do that, because speaking of outside, it is absolutely beautiful here. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a t-shirt and a sweater, I will show you. It is currently, this is real time. Anyway, it's beautiful. This is the forecast. It is a little bit chilly. Yesterday it got to about mid 70s, and it's going to look like that for the rest of the week. But after leaving like 100-degree temps, I'm so here for it. So next week is my needlepoint class. And again, I just love the idea of working with my hands, movie in the background, maybe an audiobook in the background, music, being outside. Being outside is my favorite thing to do right now. I feel like I cannot get enough. So looking forward to that. I told the family, get ready for, I have the loftiest goals. Like for me, I think I'm going to be already sewing ornaments or something like that for next year. We will see how it goes. I will keep you posted. The other thing I'm doing is I found a group here. My big thing is that I'm very much beginner. So it is for Mahjong classes. Now, there are Mahjong classes in Orlando, and I desperately really wanted to try to attend those, but these were always taking place during my most epically busy time of year, and there was just no way that I had the physical time or the headspace to take that on. But it's something I've always wanted to do, and so far there's a Facebook group of us already, and the ladies seem really lovely. There's some that are experienced, but they said if you are a beginner, we show up an hour earlier and they'll sort of start to teach us. And then they also suggested a YouTube link for us to follow if we wanted to get the basics done. Anyway, I'm so excited for Mahjong because, again, another analog activity, but also community. And I feel like that's the one thing I've sort of been lacking with here. So we've met some people through the golf club that my husband is a member of here. But again, that's more of a golf club and less of a country club like where we belong to in Orlando, and the country club in Orlando lends itself a lot more to community in my experience because there's more activities, the families are there, the spouses are there, there's more than just golf. This is literally a golf club, and it's beautiful, and we go there for dinner a lot, and we've met some people, but it's not quite exactly nurturing me in the way I would like to. So I have the Mahjong class coming up as well. So excited. The other thing I did was I found a walking group that meets every Wednesday in downtown Traverse City, and the best part about our new old house is that it is in downtown. It is in historic downtown Traverse City. So I think I have a 3-block walk to go to my walking club. So it just seems like the best thing. It meets at a place, I think, like a wine store, and then you do a 2-mile walk. You're walking and talking. From the videos and pictures I've seen, people come with their dogs, people come with their kids, they come by themselves, they come with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever. They do the 2-mile walk, and then they either hang out and have some wine there and some yaps, or they go on their merry way. And I thought there is nothing more on brand for me than taking a walk and having a glass of wine. So I'm all in for that. I cannot wait. And of course, we have gardening. But I have a dilemma this summer with the garden. So I'm not planting anything right now because we are here in the rental and I can't get into my new house. So I hope that by the time we do get in, which will be we'll have access, will be the second week of June. And while we won't be living there, I think I'm going to start a garden there in whatever way I can, whatever that looks like. It may not be the beautiful garden beds like I have in Orlando, and that's perfectly fine for me. The idea is for me to just get my hands in dirt. It's for me to grow things to eat, grow things like flowers and pollinators and all of that. I think I'm going to use some grow bags, whatever it takes. And luckily we're only about an 8-minute drive to the house, so I can check on it daily and putter around there and watch my garden grow. Okay, so the other thing about the summer and just sort of the slow living, and life just seems so simple now and quiet in the very best of ways. It's so funny. I didn't feel all that uptight or wound up or wired, or my nervous system was crazy before I left. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I'm lying a little bit. Just a little bit towards the end because we were gearing up to leave and I was packing myself with appointments and meetings. I had my nephew's graduation in South Carolina. It was a lot. But otherwise it was status quo. It was business as usual. And I certainly still have my meetings with my clients here, all virtual meetings, of course. And things like that. And we go out to dinner or what have you, and we see people. And so a lot of my days are makeup free, which just feels so great. because I feel like my skin is probably in the best condition it's ever been in my adult life. I was a teenager that didn't really have skin problems, an occasional breakout, but after my first pregnancy, I had my first baby when I was 26 years old. I started to get a really considerable adult acne problem, and I'm pretty sure it was all hormonally based. I couldn't be completely sure, to be quite honest with you, but it did get really, really bad. I mean, well into I'm gonna say into my 40s, where it was a regular thing. I know it was my 40s because I've mentioned many times before that I was plant-based for about 6 years, and the impetus for doing that was to rectify my skin, and I truly believe that's what it was. It has cleared my skin, and since then I have been extremely diligent with taking care of my skin, and skincare is almost a hobby for me at this point. And I would go for regular and monthly facials. And now that I have really locked in to an esthetician and a philosophy that I believe in and that is clearly working for me, and by the way, I have received many messages from you, from many of you, about my skin lately, and I can't tell you what that means to me, because that was not always the case, like I just mentioned. But I really, really have to give credit to my esthetician, Marcella. I will again leave her information in the show notes. She is based in Orlando, so if you're there, you can check her out. If you're visiting, you can check her out. The name of her business is Non-Surgical Youth. Both her and I chuckle about that because we always say surgery's not off the table for us. Certainly, like if you want a facelift, if you want to do all those things, you go, girl. I'll drive you. I may go at some point too, but right now that's not on my agenda. For me, I'm just trying that old adage where they say to grow old gracefully. That was sort of hard to embrace, I think, when I turned 50. When I turned 50 was the very first time I tried Botox. And I really, really loved it. I only got Botox up here, and I just loved that sort of glass forehead look and everything, and I continued to do it. I stopped almost a year ago. So, because I feel really good with the way things are. So, I've mentioned, I know I keep mentioning it, but her approach is more of a holistic approach. The devices she uses are to promote stem cell growth within, your own skin and your own body. Anyway, it's been working for me. And again, I appreciate your really, really lovely comments about it, because I feel great. But I thought I would just go over I'm a little bit done up today because Mr. Lyons is waiting for me. We're going to have a lovely afternoon out, have an afternoon lunch and such. But let's say minus the lipstick and most of this blush, this is just sort of my daily routine. So after my skincare regimen, and of course that's tailored to me based on Marcella's suggestions, so I'm not about to tell you how to wash your face and use serums and everything, this is just sort of my new foundation when I'm just not going out, and it is the Arboreum CC cream with SPF. And of course I have another SPF under here beneath that, but this really just, it comes out clear and it blends into your skin tone, and the coverage is light coverage, it's minimal coverage, so if you need a little bit more than that, perhaps you can build on it with foundation. But on minimal days, if you want SPF and some coverage, this is your girl. Again, I'm using 4 products. This is, and I left this here. I forgot I had this here. So I left makeup up here, so it's great. A Rare Beauty. It's just like a contour warming thing. I'm not a makeup girl. I don't know. A warming thing? It's a contour stick. So I just kind of put that here. And then also Rare Beauty. You go, Selena Gomez. It's just a little sort of chubby cheek little blush thing right there. Do that, blend it all in, and then trusty mascara. I tried another mascara when I got here because I did not leave mascara here and I did not come with mascara. And if you all love Lancome Definicils, I applaud you. I tried it based on the reviews, which were glowing, but it wasn't for me. This one is YSL, like lash latex or something like that. Again, I'll leave that in the show notes too, but I even used to use the Tarte one, that viral one, and I thought that was sort of amazing before, but this is your girl. If you just want like feminine flirty lashes, I love it. So that is my slow routine for makeup routine there, and those are just on regular days. Usually on a day that I'm doing a meeting, I have that on there. Yeah, easy does it for not just my activities, but for my skincare and makeup routine, just embracing it all. So right now we have a contractor here as well as an inspector. The inspector is here because we have a contract on the house, but it is contingent on the inspection. So this house is very, very old. It was built in, I believe, 1896, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I don't want to say a full gut, but there's a lot to be done, let's just say. So here's a quick tour of entry level. This is currently being used as an office, which may be a plan for now for either myself or Mr. Lyons. There's also an outpost out back, like a separate little detached room, and that can also be an office. My husband's out there with the contractor now looking at it. I would venture to say that would be more his. I think he likes to be more separated and private for work. Here is the tiny little kitchen, and this is giving me all of the memories from our tiny little kitchen in Winter Park. Certainly needs a facelift, but doable. We've definitely operated out of a kitchen of this size before, but you can see the old brick here, but you can also see a testament to just a minor portion of the work that needs to be done here. And a big challenge here is that the only full bath is downstairs while the bedrooms are upstairs. And even in this scenario, it's just it's far from ideal. So you can see here, that's a very old tub and shower. But again, we're not shy to projects. We just have to make sure that all of the projections and estimates that we're going to get to make this house, it is livable right now, but to make it lovely for us will at least warrant what it's worth. We believe that might be the case, but building and renovations up here in Traverse City is a lot more expensive than other places. It's hard to get materials here, lumber, contractors, etc. So this is what we are working with. I will show you upstairs next, but the inspector is up there right now. Could not be a more miserable day to have this done. But this is the back. The contractor is saying now that this separate room that we mentioned that could potentially have been another office just really should just come down. He cannot confirm what kind of foundation it's on, and it's kind of a bit more trouble than it's worth. Plus, I guess this deck is not in good shape either, and he suggested taking that down as well and or replacing it. So we will see, but sort of love the back of this home as well. Super old. It's got beautiful neighboring homes, so that's extremely promising. Definitely room for a garden. These, ironically, we just had planted in our Orlando backyard. I'm excited about that. And this is such a nice surprise. This is a 2-car garage. I believe this garage is bigger than our garage in Orlando. And then we have alley access. So there's an alley back here, and that we have back entrance that way. I hope I will be able to show you the front of the house when we leave here. It's a nice walk up, and I love it. But very sweet old Victorian home. As these things are, between the contractor and the inspector, I mean, the numbers are adding up with its rehabilitation. We just have to see if it's worth all of that. We certainly don't mind it. We just have to make sure that what we put into it will be equal to what the house is worth later and the comps within the neighborhood. We are in our absolute premier location that we have always wanted to be here in TC. So we would love to make it work, but you know, it just has to make sense. So friends, this week was quite the bit of a catch up. In all honesty, the majority of my week was spent in a car. And then unloading the car and getting ready. Oh, I feel so grateful. You know, we've been living with one car up here for the last couple of years, and it was far from ideal because if my husband was golfing, I'd either have to drop him off at the club and then pick him up in 6 hours later, or he'd take the car and I was kind of trapped in the house. That's a loose term because there's nothing more actually than I love than being trapped in the house, but I like the freedom to go. But when he came up to close on the house a couple of weeks ago, he did, you know, we were looking at cars online from Orlando, and he went ahead and picked that up. And I cannot tell you, I love my car. I almost love it more than my car in Orlando. That's kind of crazy to say, but I do. Between that and it was getting that car situated, because if you know me, and if you just watch the kitchen pantry video just to get a sense of where I'm going with this, I needed to spend the afternoon yesterday getting my car Lisa. Right? So maybe I'll show you that in another video, but like I have my glove compartment is organized. I have a trunk, a nice little area in the trunk that's organized for anything. Think wedding planner emergency kit truncated, but in your car, but make it girly and make it smell really good. That's what I did. Anyway, so this was a catch up. I wanted to just share with you what I intend to make happen for me for this summer. I feel amazing. I'm so happy to be here. I cannot wait to take on my new hobbies. Amongst one of them, of course, that I failed to mention are my nature hikes. I just can't wait to share all of this with you this summer. So I hope that you will share with me in the comments what you plan to do this summer, whether it is a slow summer living mentality or travel bucket list mentality. I want to hear it all because there's nothing more than I love than sharing my life with you and your life with me. So with that, I will bid you adieu for this week, and I cannot wait to see you in next week's video.